What if there was a rank 3 6-star 200 signature massacre? And at times like these when I'm recording content, it would be nice that things were working fine as intended. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to try and go over to my normal version and the beta version because for whatever reason I can't click the ability section. If I just lose my head here, you can see I'm frantically clicking on the section of abilities and I can't show it. But that's not the point. We can still carry on. It's just some of the values that are presented with a rank 3 6-star can't be overly seen. However, I recently picked up Massacre and on with the video. Picked up Massacre Awakened, and as well I am considering this champion to be further put in the running of my roster. It's actually a little bit better than I thought. It's not excessive amounts of damage, but still has enticed me and interested me from the point of incinerate damage. This champion already is a great example of a champion that can counter the likes of Distrack, and I think this is a great champion for it. Yes, there are so many champions that can be used for Distrack. Black Widow, Deadly Origin, you've got Human Torch. The list can go on and on and on with possible options. That's actually a good idea for another video and talk about Distrack counters and relevant Cavalier counters each month. But here's the thing, Massacre as a rank 3 6-star I actually really enjoyed. And the main way that I was playing this champion and actually quite enjoyed the rotation was utilizing either going straight up to an SP3, throwing it, and then using SP1s to refresh my incinerates, my ignition charges, and getting my back charged. So I was able to ramp up my incinerate damage. That was the whole process and the way that I liked playing the champion. There may be other ways to play it, but I just felt that it was more easier for me to either go up to an SP3 quickly and then rotate around the SP1, building up those incinerates, but building up those incinerate charges, or those ignition charges, so to speak. And even though I played about, or tried to play about, with the hitting to block and the amount of damage that you can theoretically do, I just found it wasn't giving that element of punch that a debuff damage would do from ticking with the incinerates. And I felt that was just like where this champion was, and especially from a point of doing that kind of damage, having and being a good Distrack counter. Not to forget the fact that this is a energy building champion, energy doing champion. Also as a champion that if there was an incinerate vulnerability, let's say that's something like that down the line, there may be something in that content, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. It's still something that would be kind of cool. And as well, when any kind of energy damage is amplified for whatever reason, man, this guy is a great example of doing that damage. And just to go a bit further on why I did not do the special attack and kind of heading into block, I just found it wasn't that gratifying, and especially with the rotation of the SP1, it seems more valuable from the point of refreshing those incinerates. If you're hitting into the enemy and you're like, I want to keep up that incinerate damage, I'm going to throw off my SP1, refreshing those incinerates. And say at times I was getting up to like 9, 10 incinerates, which would all kind of go off. But if I throw my SP1, I keep them on. And that rate and extended amount of damage is actually a little bit better, and keeping that and ticking over whilst it is indeed on flames. But as well, you can do with the SP1 a bit of bleed damage, which is great as well. That helps out against Distrack depending on how you want to play the champion. And as well, heavy attacks can be helpful and play into the narrative of getting back those ignition charges. Each hit against an incinerate opponent grants an additional ignition charge. So hitting into SP1, building up those ignition charges, building back up to being ignited, then hitting in. And it's just like rinse and repeat really with it. Especially being ignited, gain power when striking a block. Well, for me, I didn't do that. I just felt it was more pertinent to do damage with the incinerates. Each strike of the bat places an incinerate debuff on the opponent, causing X amount of damage. It will vary depending on rarity. And then these incinerate debuffs have the duration increased by 1 second for each incinerate debuff on the opponent, up to a maximum of plus 5 seconds. So again, plays into the narrative. I just want to keep the enemy engulfed in flame, and this is going to be a great option of a champion to take against the likes of, as I said, Distrack. This may be my Distrack champion that I want to use in the future. Very, very enjoyable, and I strongly recommend Massacre. It will be a champion that I will look to rank 2 at some stage. I think I have a gem as well. I think I've got 2 Yes, I've got 2 to use. I might use one on Elsa, but Massacre is actually quite interesting from the point of diss track counter, and as well looking to like different scope of the roster, looking for the damage output. And the rank 3 6-star was actually quite nice. But here's the thing, there's going to be other skill champions that you'd look to put up over this. Your Nick Furies, your Aegons. Even as I said, Elsa Bloodstone may be another option that you might want to do instead. But I'm sure there will be people out there that do love Massacre. It's just a nice amount of debuff damage. Not a huge amount on the hits. I would have wanted to see this being a flat 70 hit. But we're just going to settle for what was actually seen with the video that I've put over the top of this segment. But yeah, Massacre, very enjoyable champion for different types of content. Love those incinerates on this champion, and I think this is the first one of the What If series that I've been like, yeah, thumbs up. And there we go, that's been a return to the What If series. Hope you enjoyed this. Put in the comment section of what other champions you'd like to see in this series. Massacre was somebody requested that, and I definitely wanted to do it, and I'll do a few others as well. Providing I've got the champion, I can then do a What If on it, and especially if they are a bit obscure and not many players have rank 3'd them. So thanks very much for watching this video, and see you very soon. Bye-bye.